Ladies and gentlemen, according to NBC News, the special counsel asks Supreme Court to immediately decide if Trump is immune from crimes committed while he was president. During the January prosecution, Jack Smith, the special counsel at the direction of Biden's administration, it's purely political because he didn't commit a crime with a speech. This is about a speech where he voiced discontent. He's allowed to do so as a president. He's allowed to speak to his constituents. Now, if some people committed crimes, that was not Trump. He did not tell anyone to commit a crime, and those people should never have done what they did. A lot of people were simply let into the building and walked peacefully throughout the building, but it was a terrible day that should never have taken place. We had $1 to $2 billion in property damage all throughout the country, actually more than that, throughout the summer, and Cheney and Kinzinger and Democrats and Pelosi did not care at all. Now, I understand, I'm not equating the underlying reasons for protest, okay? What I'm saying is when you pick and choose chaos and mayhem, political turmoil, if it suits you and you do nothing about it, that says something about you as a human being. But Trump did not commit a crime. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. The Supreme Court will eventually side with Trump. The media will spin it as saying the Supreme Court didn't side with Trump. What they'll do, it's a 6-3 conservative majority. What they'll do is they'll say, well, any crimes outside of the scope of his official duties, he is liable or he is able to be imprisoned for. Then the media will run with it and say, you see, the Supreme Court gave Trump a devastating defeat. Part of his official duties as president is to speak to Americans, to give speeches. That's what all presidents do, to communicate his thoughts. His discontent or his inability to believe the sanctity of 2020 is not criminal. Democrats still don't believe that Trump won fair and square in 2016. They still don't believe that Al Gore lost to Bush, George W. Bush, the worst of the Bushes. Okay? So, baby Bush, imbecile Bush, who started us into never-ending military conflict and quagmire and counterinsurgency nightmares. But to read my writing, ladies and gentlemen, and hit subscribe. That's why you watch this channel, to read my writing in The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications. Go to hagoodman.com. The Patreon is below. The super thanks is below in the pinned comment, the Patreon. And ladies and gentlemen, I will be starting live streams probably either tomorrow night, sometime this week, definitely next week, a bunch of them. January, February, March, April, May, June, July of 2024. August, September, October, and November of 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that Trump will regain the Oval Office. And the live stream on this channel will be epic. Absolutely epic and biblical and amazing and however you want to describe it. In November, when this man regains the Oval Office with every single possible disadvantage. And he's still defeating mashed potato brains. Nobody believes that Trump tried to foment or overthrow a revolution or overthrow the government. Nobody believes this. The indictment against him states that his speech compelled people to commit crimes. The justices, even the liberal justices, are smart enough to understand that you can't prosecute a president for a difference of opinion. If he told people to commit crimes, that's a different story. Nixon told or was a part of a break-in. Okay? He paid people to be quiet or to actually commit crimes. Watergate was a low-level break-in. Okay? It was a burglary. That is an obvious criminal act. A speech is not. And what Democrats do all the time is they make absurd, stupid leaps of logic. They say that his speech, and they replay the people who are committing crimes, and they ignore the majority of people who were let in and, and walked just throughout. I mean, people have already been acquitted. Okay, this wasn't an example of the average day that summer where you had major unrest. Okay, and it's interesting, all like the left-leaning progressive or liberal YouTubers, where were they? Where were these people that summer? I don't see any video of all these left-leaning people thinking that Trump is committed all these crimes. Where were they that summer? Did they demonstrate peacefully that summer? They did not. Most of them did not. I can't even name one that did. Because they were afraid for their well-being. Because they knew very well that it was unsafe throughout that summer. And that the words of specific Democrats made things more chaotic. Actually, you could make a case that those words fomented violence. And so Trump, they tried to say that he committed all these crimes through a speech because he didn't believe that he lost. He's allowed not to believe that he lost. He's allowed to make false claims because Democrats have been making false claims from day one about Trump. Okay? He was never a Russian operative. That never happened. That was the stupidest, most insane, absurd fantasy of liberal Democrats, and they still believe it. They still believe that that bots on Twitter, Russia bots, the bots, gave Trump Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. By the way, he's up in Michigan and Pennsylvania in the polls. And a lot of these Republican state legislatures made it more difficult for Democrats to do the things that they did legally. They were, oh my God, the Democrats are totally legal. They did everything legally. But you're not going to have a flood of you-know-what after that day in November. I'm just going to speak in an algorithmically friendly manner, which is what I usually do. And to the viewers on this channel who've been with me for so long, God bless you. Thank you. I love you. To the members on this channel, I love you. And I thank you so very much. We're going to have a good time this year. I really think that Trump can regain the Oval Office, and that he will. The Supreme Court will either side with him, give him some very important victory that the media will overlook, and the Supreme Court will say, well, you know what? If he committed crimes, then yeah, he's not immune. And then Democrats will run with it. And then if they convict him, the Supreme Court will actually overturn the conviction, and they've overturned many corruption convictions, many fraud convictions, many criminal convictions. 2016 Virginia governor being the one of the recent major examples. Trump didn't commit a crime. The indictment, the 4 indictments against him for criminal activity, not only will he not ever serve even a second in jail or prison, but the indictments were written essentially by a Democratic operative. Like, they were written as if an MSNBC or a CNN producer wrote them. None of these indictments have any relevance to reality. Okay? He was a president with the power to declassify. Okay? The precedent was already set that his that Secretary of State could have servers with top secret intel on them. So if no reasonable prosecutor would go after a Secretary of State, and I think that Hillary Clinton will be either the 24 nominee, or it'll be Clinton-Trump 2024. However that works, okay? I don't know. Biden could be the nominee, and then, somehow, some way, Democrats say we want Hillary. I think Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, and I'm the only person in the entire planet saying that. But it'll be fun. We'll get to 300,000, ladies and gentlemen, this year. I think we'll get to 300,000 subs this year. And the channel's, going very slow. It's strategic on my part, ladies and gentlemen. There's not much going on, but we'll We'll get things going, especially in late December, early January. And like I said, the lead up to November, this will be one of the most important years in American history. God bless you all. Thank you for watching. I love you. And thank you so much for your support. Hit subscribe.